Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio today. I hope you're having a great week, and today we're going to look at verse 4 of Psalm 87. We're studying Psalm 87 all this week. I hope you'll continue to join me as we read through Psalm 87, and today we're looking at verse 4. Let me go ahead and read that for you. I will make mention of Rahab and Babylon to them who know me. Behold, Philistia and Tyre with Ethiopia, this man was born there. This comes after the Selah, and the Selah breaks this. The Selah is used twice in this psalm, once after verse 3, so we have 1 through 3, then the Selah. We have verses 4, 5, and 6, and then the Selah, and then we have verse 7, which concludes. And that's one of the reasons why I said Monday that it's sort of a difficult psalm to get your hands around, because the 7th verse just sort of breaks off. It's an interesting way that it concludes. We'll get to that on Friday. Well, today we will look at verse 4, and notice the place names that are being used here. I will make mention of, and then he lists several places. Rahab, Babylon, to them that know me. Okay, so Rahab we know. Rahab was the young lady in Jericho who hid the spies. And she hid them in her house, and then the Lord delivered her when the children of Israel came in and destroyed Jericho. But Rahab is also an ancient place name for Egypt. As a matter of fact, Isaiah uses that in Isaiah 57, verse 9. He uses Rahab, speaking of Egypt, and what God did to the Egyptians when he delivered Israel the first time, in the first Exodus account. Then we have Babylon. We know Babylon, and we know the long history there between Israel and Babylon. Philistia, Tyre, and Ethiopia also were enemies. Philistia, of course, we know, and Tyre, up in the north, the Assyrians and the Syrian nation. And the Ethiopians, maybe not so much, because usually Ethiopia and Egypt are paired together. But I hope you will remember 2 Chronicles chapter 14, when Zerah, the Ethiopian, came against Asa's Judean kingdom, and he came with 1,000,000 men and 300 chariots. And Asa went out to meet him and prayed, and the Lord delivered the Ethiopians into his hand. Now, those are all enemies, and we can say these are on the enemies list of the historical enemies of Israel and Judah. But we could also say that these place names are also homes to great cities. Rahab, of course, Egypt, is home to cities like Memphis and On. Babylon, that name by itself evokes the image of a city which was an ancient wonder of the world. Philistia had its 5 city-states that were confederate and, of course, made up the oligarchy that attacked Israel. Tyre was that impenetrable fortress there on the seacoast up in Phoenicia, and powerful city in itself, a city of commerce and a city of great kings. Ethiopia had its castles and its 1,000,000 men, and so it's also a place of great cities. And so all of these are being contrasted now with Jerusalem. They pale in comparison to Jerusalem, but I don't think that's quite what the psalmist wants us to understand here, because at the end of the verse, this man was born there. You see, out of these enemies and these places where great cities abide, people are coming to the Lord. So he's doing a delivering work, redeeming, in a sense, all of the cities that dwell in these places, because the people are being born there. They're coming to the Lord, to Jerusalem, to worship. So maybe the writer of the psalm is seeing a festival scene where people from all over the world, of all different nationalities and cultures, skin tones and languages, are coming through the gates of Jerusalem to worship. And they're saying, well, that one was born in Rahab, and that one was born in Babylon. But now they're truly citizens of Zion because they've come to worship the Lord. God has done a delivering work, not from the enemies, but in the enemies, and redeemed people unto himself there. Okay, I hope that you'll join me tomorrow as we look at verse 5 of Psalm 87 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.